I have two windows. Hopefully you can kind of see the difference here. On the left side of the screen, this is that traditional client that we logged into. And on the right-hand side of the screen is the Vcinity version. So the only difference between the two clients is, at least from a Vcinity perspective, we're just tunneling through our software in and out of the door to get some unique capabilities of extending things over distance on a high link connection. Okay. The way the technology presents itself is with standard files, folders, and shares. So that's what we've done. So what you're looking at here in the window is I just created a network share and I pointed it to the remote Hammerspace environment. So what you're looking at here is from the East Coast, I have this folder here. And what that folder is showing you is the Hammerspace managed environment on the West Coast. Okay. So we're going to do two things. I'm going to show, some ability to do things over distance, but also what we're going to do is show, from a Hammerspace environment that, their solution doesn't slow things down. Right? Want to make sure that, they're creating this great value prop there. One of the big problems with some of the other ones that are out there is, I can do things with it, but the performance is horrible. Hammerspace has done a very, very good job of creating a high performance architecture that gives you the values that they bring. From the Vicinity perspective, we're taking advantage of that over distance. Okay, so what I'm going to do
It's funny
first.
you bring that in, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
One customer that we accidentally stumbled into a solution was we had a customer in media and entertainment actually that was they wanted a global namespace. They wanted to go global with their data and whatnot. And by chance, they happened to be sitting on legacy Isilon infrastructure. We put Hammerspace on top of that, and by a byproduct of implementing the global namespace, the Isilon was able to do double their compute power.
Oh, wow.
They didn't put any more hardware to the stack. They didn't add more power there. It just happened that because of the parallel nature of what we're doing with PNFS, it was able to parallelize the writes into the data flow, and away they went. So that it was just a kind of a side benefit, but it enlightened us to what the power of PNFS really can do in these environments. It's not
Right.
Your mind goes to, oh, I'm adding an abstraction layer. It's going to create latency and slow things down, but it really is the opposite. It's a superpower of having parallel.
Right. No, I like it. We need to get a Hammerspace little superhero kind of.
I have my
Vicinity on one side, Hammerspace on the other, right? That'd be kind of cool. So let's show it, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take what I have here, a bunch of files. I think they're 5 gig. We're just going to just drag and drop from, we're going to pull it from the West Coast in this case over to the cloud on the East Coast. I think it chose number 10 here. Yep. And what you're going to see, so on the left-hand side, traditional approaches around about 15 meg. On the right-hand side, 160 something megs. So, again, one side of that value piece that we were talking about, which is, hey, if I need to move data from A to B, right? Vicinity is going to help, do that within the Hammerspace virtualized environment, right? We're going to kind of put that data transfer on steroids. You can see it here. Very impressive. And again, from a training perspective, right? What's this mean to AI? What this means is, I can move a lot more data in a shorter amount of time, or I can just get the pieces that I want faster, right? So, training that model, bringing it in, pulling it into the virtualized orchestrated environment from Hammerspace, that's kind of a really cool joint prop. Everybody gets it. Everybody has this problem. That's an example of how we solved it kind of live here. What do we do now is we're going to do something with that video, right? So I promise we do this. What I have here is Adobe Premiere, right? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to play a video. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it from the Hammerspace environment. So I have some HD videos here, some drone footage. I'm just going to drag it into Premiere here. And again, remember the Premiere application and compute is on the cloud on the East Coast, but the data is in the Hammerspace environment on the West Coast. Okay, so we're doing some kind of unique things here. Normally, people wouldn't try to do this with a video. It would be a horrible experience. In fact, I'm actually going to show that. Right, so I'm going to come over here to the Vicinity side, take the same video. I'm just going to drop it into the window there. Okay, now what I've done is I've turned on, the term is called dog ears. What's important is I put some math behind this. Right, when you start working over Teams or Zoom or whatever in the world we're on here, it has a tendency to kind of show some jitter when it really isn't there. So in the middle here, you see some numbers. It says total and dropped. That's actually the frame count. So we're gonna let math define how good this works. I'm just gonna play the video. So we'll start on the traditional side, and you see the total going up, and then of course, there you go. You see the dropped frames, and I'm pretty much dropping every frame that's trying to go over distance, right? if I do the same thing on the Vcinity side, now remember, it's not just what we're doing from the networking perspective, it's also that, Hammerspace has to be able to keep up, with these requests. And if you look on the right-hand side here, my total's going up, but I'm not dropping any frames, right? And when you're able to do this over distance, connecting to a virtualized environment with the performance and the flexibility that that Hammerspace brings, this is a pretty cool joint solution. So again, something kind of interesting to show. Rob, anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think you nailed it. It just works, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just AWS. We have customers that are running multi-cloud, right? They're hiring people all over the world, and they're standing up cloud instances to do live editing from wherever they want to. And the smart guys are using spot-based pricing, right, on the cloud, and saying, well, it's cheaper to do my processing over here. They click a button, and they're away they go to a different bucket in a different cloud vendor. So that'd be the other differentiator we have here is the true agnostic approach to this.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's interesting you bring that up because, I asked a couple of our engineers to spend the time to put this together. And when I was talking to them this morning, I'm like, okay, we're good to go. They're like, yeah, it was pretty easy. It took us like, half an hour, 45 minutes. We had the whole thing up and running between two different clouds.